Hello ladies, it's Claire here. So this video is showing you an alternative way to watercolour this beautiful Prized Peony stamp. And this is this week's step-by-step PDF tutorial that I've sent out to all of my subscribers. The link is below in the links if you would like to subscribe and receive my weekly emails yourself. But because it's a little bit tricky showing, not tricky, but because it's easy to show by video, I've actually done a video to complement this week's tutorial. So let's get started. So actually, let's have a look back here. I'm a very messy watercolorer. I don't do things perfectly blended. My style is very much shabby. And I like variations in colour, and I like sort of like the Monet look. So that's what I'm going for. And I also like quick and easy when it comes to colouring. If I've got to stand there for, or sit there for half an hour blending, I get too frustrated and I give up. So I'm looking for a quick solution, variation in colour that looks a little bit vintage, bit fresh vintage, bit shabby. So that was what I was going for. So to start, the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a Rococo Rose Stampin' Right marker, and I've got the Prized Stampin' Right marker, and I'm actually going to apply the ink directly to the stamp. So for the flower areas, we want the Rococo Rose. Now, I find it easiest just to get the area there, and you don't have to be super precise, really. You want to just cover it as quickly and easily as you can. Whoops, that's supposed to be a leaf. If you do that, just wipe it off with your finger or a bit of paper towel. Okay, so if you sort of hold it up to the light, you can sometimes see the areas that you've covered and the areas that you haven't. So that's sort of, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So there we go on that one. And this little peony over here we want to cover as well. So I'm actually doing this on a Saturday night. Hubby's just come home from dropping my son at a gig. He does music and lighting for some friends' parties and things. So he's just dropped him off. My other son's gaming in his room, and there's a bit of footy going in the background. So I hope you're having a nice Saturday night. So there we are, I've done the peony bit. Now, usually I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to do a video. I can't do them as well as other people. But I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to be me, do them how I do them, and hopefully you might learn something along the way. So they're not going to be perfect. Maybe a cat jumping up on the table every now and again, my teddy. You've probably seen, if you follow my Facebook page, Facebook business page, Claire Daly Creates, you've probably seen pictures of Teddy. There we go. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've covered the leaves area and the stems with Prized, and the other area with Rococo Rose. Now, because this is a distinctive stamp, you'll see when I stamp it actually gives variation anyway. But before we stamp, because it took a little while longer to colour all of that, I like to huff on the stamp to moisten the areas I've gone over with the marker. So you won't be able to see me doing that, but you'll be able to hear me. So here goes. Good huffing. Okay, so I think that'll be right. So let's pop that down onto the paper. Now I'm using our fantastic Fluid 100 watercolour paper here because I want to be watercolouring afterwards, and that gives a fantastic result. So these come in 5x7 sheets, and you just cut them in half or quarters or whatever you need. But being 100% cotton, they're really great for absorbing the water and for me to move the colour around. So I found this actually a really good quality watercolour paper, so I absolutely love that. So there you are. You see I've got my areas down there with your Rococo Rose, and you can see some variation in the colour already, but I want it to be way different than that. Oh, look, I missed that little bit of leaf there. That should be green. But luckily, the one I did earlier, it's actually got pink on that as well. Never mind. So that's supposed to be green, that bit, but never mind. We'll just pretend it's supposed to be pink for today. So I want to actually have a bit more colour. Now, the one I did for my card, taking back here, I actually left overnight before I came back and did the other colours. So there's no need to like be super quick or anything like that. I'm going to be using the water pens. So this year's Stampin' Up catalogue, there's some new water pens, a set of 3. And so there's a broad tip, there's a very fine tip, and there's a medium tip. So we're going to be using the medium and the fine tip today. So I'll pop those back. So these actually, I'll show you what this one, these actually, you open the barrel and you can fill them with water, and then they actually sort of, you can feel the squeeze. This is push here. The water comes out, moistens the tip, and you can actually use that for your watercolouring techniques. What I recommend when you're doing this is to have a piece of scrap paper or something that you can be getting the excess water off, or if you're like me, on your shirt or your jeans. You know, that's handy because sometimes you can have a little bit too much water on the tip. So the very first thing I want to do here is to actually just get a little bit more colour in the flower. So I've got the broad tipped one here, and I'm just picking up tinsy bits of that colour and actually colouring in the petals really light so they get a little bit of the Rococo Rose. So you're just pulling that colour in. And instead of those areas being white or the colour of the watercolour paper, you're getting that really light pink, Rococo Rose pink, which I really love. We've got lots of different pinks, and some people really like the clean, you know, blue-based pinks, but I actually really like some of our, they're called dirty pinks as well, because I think, you know, the vintage style and that I love, they actually really suit. I particularly love Rococo Rose. I think there's a lot of things that you can do with that. So, and again, you see I'm being quick and not very precise, and that's okay. That's pretty much my style when it comes to watercolouring. So I think I've covered. So you can see those variations in colour that it's actually supplied by the stamp, which is really good. Because of the distinctive style of these stamps, or it's called distinctive, that's the name, Stampin' Up. We've got a few of these in the catalogue, absolutely beautiful. Are you loving the new catalogue? Oh my goodness, I'm in love with it. I mean, everyone seems to be going gaga over this Prized Peony suite, but there's lots of other beautiful things. I've been cutting up designer series papers for the paper share, and oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. Okay, so that's the... I've done that with the Rococo Rose. Now I just want to make sure that there's no colour there, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the same thing, go over the areas that were Pear Pizzazz. So I'm just looking for very light coverage here and trying not to get rid of too many of those shaded areas, because that's what gives the image dimension, and it's also going to be really helpful for the second step. So... And then I also pulled the colour in on the stem so that they get filled in a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Doesn't matter if you go a little bit over the lines. Gives it your distinctive handmade look, doesn't it? Okay. So there we go. So I'm happy with how that's looking. Actually, maybe just a little bit more on these edges here. Might need a little bit more water there. My tip's gone a bit dry. Okay. So yeah, then I think maybe there's a little bit too much there. So I'll just dry that off on the side, or a paper towel works great as well. Again, or your jeans work great as well. So most of the areas, and I know that said it was supposed to be leaf, but let's give it a bit of pink as well, just to show the technique. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do is actually provide a bit more variation in colour. So to do that, I'm going to come in with a couple of extra ink pads and the finer tip. So the very first colour I'm going to use to add some extra dimension into the picture is Rich Razzleberry, and for this I'm using the finer tip water pen. So just squeeze it to make sure we've got some ink there in the lid of the ink pad. which we have. So I'm just going to be picking up, this is really, we need to be careful of how much water. So see these darker areas that were, there's too much water on that tip. These darker areas that were from the distinctive stamping, they're the ones that I want to actually supply a bit more deeper colour to. So I'm just going in there, picking it up, and actually on the darker areas, I'm putting some of the rich raspberry ink. People that are perfect watercolours are probably, I'm probably freaking them right out with my method, but hey, it works for me. And going around some of those lines. So really the stamp actually gives you shows you where to put the darker colours. It's fantastic. That's what I love about this stamp. I don't have to think about shading and where the light would be. Really, I'm just adding a bit of extra colour where the stamp has already provided extra coverage. You'll see right here in the middle, there's a bit of some of those lines. And there's quite a bit down here. Now you could blend these out a whole lot more. Depends how much blending you want and how much of the just obvious variation in colour. I tend to like more obvious variation in colour, but it really depends on what your own style is, as to what your preference is. And you'll certainly see some amazing coloured peonies. I am definitely sure of that. So a little bit more here. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. And we'll do a little bit more on this one, getting a bit too watery there, so let's come back. In the dark areas. So I'm liking how that's looking at this stage. And so I'm going to go on to the Old Olive ink pad. Here we go. So again, just getting rid of the colour, opening my Old Olive ink pad here. And again, in the areas where we would have some darker areas on the leaves, I'm just coming in and adding that extra bit of colour. And again, paying attention to how much water you've got on there. If it's a little bit too runny, just dry it off on your scrap paper or on your clothes. Please don't wear white t-shirts when you're watercolouring with me, or white pants, because you won't be happy. I wonder why I wear black so much. Maybe it's because of my crafting. Okay, so you get the idea. Just build up that colour. Start with your one colour direct to the ink, and then you can introduce all your other colours as you go along. And look, you could even get a little bit darker in here and add some mossy meadow. I think would look great as well. But I'm happy with how that's looking for my messy watercolour style. Might have got a bit too carried away with that one. So I would ideally let that air dry. Oh, one tip, if you've actually got a lot of water in your ink pad, make sure you actually wipe that with a paper towel before you close. There's not too much there. I didn't really add any water. I just picked up the ink that was there. But if it is very watery, because you don't want to dilute the ink in your ink pad, so that's a tip to remember. So I would ideally let that air dry, but if you want to hurry it up, you can do that with your heat gun as well. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this simple way to watercolour this beautiful Prized Peony stamp. As you can see, it's a beautiful stamp set. So have a look at the links below if you're interested in purchasing that for yourself. I've also got another video, just a really short tip video if you're wondering how to do ink splatters onto your projects as well. So I've got one of those using this same project. So you can look at the link. I will link to that video below as well. Otherwise, I will see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching.